Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. My name is T.S. Sudhir. In this video today, we are going to discuss the first chapter of the Civics syllabus, which is part of your social science new NCERT textbook with effect from July 2024 for students of class 6 CBSE. This one is called Family and Community. There are 4 chapters as part of the Civics / Political Science. Family and community actually teaches you the different units in which society is essentially divided. What constitutes a family? And even within a family, what is a joint family and what is a nuclear family? What is a community? Is it the way we understand it, or is there slight variance in the way we actually define a community? So all that and much more in this particular chapter called Family and Community is what we are going to talk about in this particular explanation video. So subscribe to the channel and let's get started.
Love and dharma are the flower and fruit of family life. Now, this was said by Tiruvallur, one of the famous and a very well-known and respected, highly respected saints from Tamil Nadu in the southern part of the country. Now, what exactly do we mean when we say family and community? Now, all of us, obviously, हम सभी एक परिवार में रहते हैं. We all live in a family. And the family is seen as, when you look at society in general, a group of people who live together because they have blood relations between themselves, the father and the child, the mother and the child, the husband and the wife, the brother and the sister, the grandmother and the grandchild. So this is understood as the fundamental and the most ancient unit of any society. So these two words are important. Okay. So what I said right at the beginning, we have joint families and we have nuclear families. A joint family is where different members of a family live together. So it's invariably a large family with many more members living under the same roof in a same house. So you have grandparents, you have parents, you have uncles and aunts, right? Like this. Now this is a joint family, what you see on the left-hand side. And the right-hand side also, just the grandparents and the grandchildren also can be classified as a joint family. Now, these are nuclear families where it is only the father, the mother, and the 2 children, right? These are nuclear families. In a joint family, you may have for instance, the father, if an elderly person has 3 sons, all his 3 sons are married. So which means that the grandfather, grandmother, the 3 sons, their 3 wives, and their children all live in the same house. That would be known as a joint family. Nuclear family, it's only generally the husband, wife, and their children. So what kind of family is your family? What kind of families do you see in your neighborhood? You could discuss all that in your class activity. Now, in English, we generally refer to everyone as an uncle or an aunt, right? But in Indian languages, we have different kinds of words to describe different kind of relationships, right? For example, if your sister is married is married, in English, we generally refer to that person as your brother-in-law. However, in Hindi, you call him Jijaji. In Tamil, etc., you call him Atimber. So, you have different kind of words in different languages. Please let me know what is it called in Bengali or Gujarati or Marathi. Please let me know. I don't know those languages. I know 5 languages: English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and Malayalam. Now, though my Tamil is better than my Telugu and Malayalam. In Hindi, you have Bua. In Tamil, you call her Attai for Bua, that is your father's sister. Then you have Chacha, which is referring to the younger brother of your father. In Tamil, it is known as Chittappa, right? So you have different kinds of words in Indian languages, unlike English, where it is uncle, aunt, brother-in-law, sister-in-law kind of thing. Okay. And then it just goes on to talk about, talking about different words. For example, Rani is the Behen, mother's brother's daughter, who is your cousin, right? Uh, in Samir is your chacha, who is a father's younger brother, otherwise referred to in English as uncle, right? So that's how you can write it. You can experiment if you have students, if you're lucky enough. In fact, I would say if you have students from different states in your classroom, this would be an extremely interesting exercise and activity to undertake. Now, relationships among family members are based on love, on care, cooperation, and interdependence, in the sense that if you have, like the example I gave, if there are three sons and their wives, it's quite possible that someone may be unwell. One of the brothers may be unwell, or one of the wives of the brothers may be unwell. So the other two will kind of pitch in to help uh, while they are unwell and not able to do any work. That's the advantage of living in a joint family. Now, each member has a role, has a responsibility that, okay, he is responsible for this work, she's responsible for this work. The other sister in law is responsible for doing this work, right? So, duties and responsibilities are usually divided equally among all the family members, and it helps in family bonding. It can also lead to quarrels because obviously there will be difference of opinion, but it also leads to great degree of bonding, especially when you celebrate festivals, etc., together. As children grow up, they also take on responsibilities. You are more close to your cousins, which otherwise may not happen in the case of a nuclear family, where you may be living in a particular city, your cousins may be living in another city, and you may visit each other only during summer or winter vacation, or maybe during a festival. So the bonding exercise may take place twice or thrice a year and not on a daily basis. So that's one of the negatives, you may say, of living in a nuclear family. So through daily practice, children learn to participate in the life of the household, and many homes children also learn some of the traditions and practices that their family, because if you live with your grandparents, they would be able to tell you that these are the cultural practices that our family has been practicing for many years, and you should carry them forward, right? That we do this particular puja or prayer to this particular god or deity, and therefore, and this is the way to do it. So grandparents pass on that tradition to the grandson or granddaughter. These are general questions which you could look at. Now, following our dharma or doing our duty has been an important principle of Indian culture. The family is also a school, because you learn a lot of things, where children learn important values such as ahimsa, dana, dan karne wali baat, that is giving, seva, that is service, and tyaga, sacrifice, that is you are able to sacrifice your own self-interest for the sake of the interest of another member of your joint family. So individuals in the family often give up their own needs to take care of the family needs. This is important point. Let's look at one such story, because that will help you understand it better. Now, this is the state of Kerala. Okay, you can make it from their attire. They're all wearing veshtis. It is not called lungi. Okay, it is not, I mean, you can call it dhoti, but the word that is generally preferred is veshti. Okay, so she's the grandmother. He's a son. He's another son, or maybe a daughter's husband. We don't know. Anyway, we'll find that out. So Shalini lives with her family. That is, this is Shalini most likely, lives with her family in a town in Kerala. I come from Kerala, from Palakkad. Her father runs a small business, and her mother is a teacher in a nearby school. Shalini has a younger brother. Her grandmother, Achamma, that is the father's mother, Chittappa, who is the father's brother or paternal uncle, and her Chitti, that is his wife. Normally, I can tell you in Kerala, these are more Tamil words. In Kerala, they don't call them Chittappa or Chitti. At least to the best of my knowledge, they don't. These are more Tamil words. They have a daughter, Shalini's cousin, who she calls Chinni. Now, Shalini's uncle has just lost his job, so he doesn't have a steady source of income, right? And her aunt is a homemaker, so she's not an earning member of the family. So the whole family was preparing for the festival of Onam, which comes in the month of August, sometimes September, mostly August. Achama told Shalini's father that his brother was having financial difficulties, so were not able to buy new clothes for the festival. During Onam, people do buy, especially that, uh, it's like mostly off-white with a golden border is the tradition in Kerala. Uh, Achama told Shalini's father that his brother was having financial difficulties, so they were not able to buy new clothes for the festival. So when Shalini's parents took her and her brother for shopping for Onam, they bought new clothes, not only for themselves, but also for Chittappa, that is the uncle, the aunt, and Chinni. As a result, Shalini did not get. Now, they had saved some money to buy a silk dress for Shalini. However, they could not she could not be bought that dress because they had to divide the money in order to buy a dress also for Chinni. So she had to settle for a simple cotton dress instead of a silk dress, obviously less expensive. So Achama explained to Shalini that this is how families support each other. So you could get a question as to what is it that you learn from Shalini's story or Achama's story, that families support each other and share what they have. And Shalini also did not mind. Now, she was an understanding and a mature kind of a child. She did not mind her simpler dress. She was happy that everyone could get new clothes. Okay. I'm trying to explain largely in simple English because there are many students who say, Arey, I don't understand Hindi, so please don't speak in Hindi, etc. All I would say is that whenever I've spoken in Hindi, it's always a translation of what I say in English. Otherwise, it's quite difficult for me to explain in the different languages that I know. If Tamil explain panna thodangina, Hindi theriya puriyadu, right? Those who understand Hindi will not be able to understand it. Similarly, I do understand कि अगर मैं हिंदी में explain करूं, so whoever does not understand Hindi are at a loss. So which is why I'm trying to explain it in simple English so that I'm hoping that a majority of you would be able to understand. Please tell me in the comment section if I should continue like this. Draw a simple tree of the family members. Now, how do you draw a family tree? Family tree is drawn like this. So you will have Achama, okay. Then you will have son number 1, son number 2. Then you will say his wife, this is wife. Then you have Shalini and her brother. And in this case, it is Chinni. So this is how you make a family tree. So it comes like the branches of a tree. That's how it is made. Let's assume tomorrow Shalini gets married when she grows up. Then it will be like Shalini married to, let's say, Ashok. Okay. And the brother married to Meera. So this is how the family tree goes forward. So you should know how to construct a family tree. It would be quite interesting. You should actually try to make a family tree of your family. Okay. Your parents, their parents from both sides coming together, then you, the two brothers, if you have cousins, if you have uncles and aunts, it will be quite interesting for you to make a family tree as well. Now, the second story is set in Meghalaya, in the northeastern part of India. Now, my name is Tenzing. I love the mountains we live in, though life is sometimes hard. My father runs a small grocery store, that is to sell, rice, dal, the usual salt, sugar, etc. After my mother became busy in a local handicraft cooperative, making our beautiful traditional fabrics of Meghalaya. What's the capital of Meghalaya? Please look up Google and answer me in the comment section. I won't tell you. You should know this. I would assume that at your level in class 6, you should be aware of all the 28 states in India and their capital cities, and also which are the different union territories of India. You should be aware of that. I want to improve your sense of civics and sense of geography. So please take this up as an exercise. I want you to kind of learn the names of all the states and union territories and the names of the state capitals. So what the wife did was to make traditional fabrics, wood carvings, and other items for sale to tourists. And the father would work to clean the house. There are people who kind of work from home and help in the household duties. The traditional roles, male of the family. The father would go out to earn for the family while the mother would be a homemaker. Those roles have all changed now, right? So what people, there are many men who kind of work from home. They're either homemakers or work from home. So they're able to take care of their work as well as take care of home. So it's an interesting reversal of roles which has happened in many households and families of India. So the grandmother is also there. So he helps the grandmother, that is his mother, in preparing food. Now, grandmother has a lot of interesting stories to tell, as is obvious in this particular illustration. And they are full of humor. They're full of wisdom because they have she has so much of experience. But no one seems to understand people better than her. So grandfather is also there, who helps me with my homework and takes me to the school bus stop. He's also actively involved in social work in our colony and is always offering his help to others. For example, when there is a power failure in our area, he goes and registers a complaint at the nearby office. When a neighbor's house got damaged in a storm, he collected some money from the whole neighborhood. So he's basically of a helpful and a generous nature. So we are lucky that my parents can take care of our basic necessities like food and clothing. Whenever any special expenditure, for example, you may have to send the children on some kind of educational trip for which you may need to contribute some money to the school, or you may want to buy some new expensive item for the family, for example, a new TV set or a new washing machine or a new microwave oven. So these are known as special expenditure. So mother and father, they kind of discuss them together, whether we should go in for this brand or this brand, because this brand is more expensive than the second brand. So mother says that we should always try to save some money for any unexpected needs, especially medical expenditure. If you have medical insurance or not have it, suppose there is a medical emergency, you should be able to have some money reserved so that you can spend on the hospital expenditure. So that's why Tenzing's father consults his wife for special expenditure. How do you feel? What I just now told you, the reversal of roles, and that there is no gender disparity. Please use this phrase. ये बहुत ही अच्छा phrase बता रहा हूं मैं आपको. Gender disparity. Okay. यानी कि जेंडर के बेसिस पर किसी भी तरह का भेदभाव नहीं है. There is no difference. One male and female are not in any way there is no discrimination on the basis of their gender, right? What roles do the grandparents fulfill? It is there in the story. You should be able to take it out. Now, this is again some activity for your classroom. Now, let's come to what is known as community. Now, families are connected. You've understood by now the concept of a family with the help of these two examples and what I explained before that. A group of such connected people can be known as a community, right? So if there are, for example, there are, let's say 20 families, right? There are 20 families living together in a particular area, right? That is a community because they are forming what is known as a group, right, of families living together. So they can be known as a community. On the other hand, let me give you another example. I live in Hyderabad. Now, obviously this place has more Telugus, right? However, there would be people from other states, like say from Bihar, from Assam, from Kerala, living in Hyderabad. So what you say is that let's, for example, at a few months before, during the elections, actor Suresh Gopi, who went on to become the MP from Thrissur in Kerala, and he's now a minister in the central government, he had come to Hyderabad. So one of the people from the BJP called me and said that, how can we get in touch with the Malayali community? So when there is a lesser number of people living in another place, the word community, like it says, no, there are other meanings for community depending on the context. So I'm explaining to you कि किस सेंस में community शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है. एक तो हो गया families, परिवार एक साथ रह रहे हैं, that's one. But even in this kind of a context, no, how do I get in touch with members of the Malayali community or somebody coming from, let's say, Maharashtra? How do I get in touch with the Marathi community living in Hyderabad or living in Chennai, because the numbers would be less. They may be having some association. For instance, there is a very popular Bengali association in Hyderabad, right? Because the numbers would not be very huge. There would be maybe 400, 500. I'm just saying, just like that, families living in Hyderabad. So you can get in touch with them through the association and reach out to the Bengali community, organize a festival, a function, an event for them around Durga Puja, right? You can organize something for the Malayalis around Onam, right? Like it happens here in Hyderabad. So that way also the word community is used. So please understand that. So members of a community come together for various reasons, like what I've just now mentioned, celebrating Onam, Durga Puja, any other festival, organizing weddings, feasts, and other events. In some villages, people come together to support each other with agricultural practices like land preparation. For example, harvest festival, January mein hota hai, Sankranti, Pongal, etc. So at that time, everyone comes together to harvest together. So it becomes like the community doing work together. So there is a feeling of celebration of doing something together, doing a similar activity together. So it's not just your family, it's also you are bonding with families, other families, and that is known as a community. Understood? I hope I've explained it in detail. Communities often agreed upon some practices on the use of shared natural wealth and resources such as water, grazing lands, and water produce. Now, what does this mean? For example, in a forest area, there are, let's say, tribals. They would have an understanding कि we will collect wood for, if they are not having cylinders, we will collect wood for use as firewood from the forest, but that will be basically wood which has fallen down, the twigs, the branches, etc. We will not cut any trees. So what they do is that they have agreed upon practices of shared natural wealth. Forest produce, natural forest produce is a natural wealth, right? It's a resource. So similarly, water, okay, we will use this particular pond for taking it for drinking water purposes. लेकिन ये pond जो है, इसका हम इस्तेमाल करेंगे in order to irrigate the fields out here. So people sit together, they arrive at a decision together, the entire community. So this is how I've explained community in great detail so that you understand it very well. Uske baad you use the keywords and you write it in your own language, no problem. But understanding needs to be very clear. And since I have kind of reported a lot on all these things, so I mean these things are like on my fingertips. Now, this remains the case in village communities in rural India today. Such practices, we may call them rules, like the panchayat in a village may frame such rules that इस कुएं का पानी सारे गांव का को इस्तेमाल करने की अनुमति है. That is, water from this well can be used for drinking purposes by the entire village without any discrimination. So the panchayat decides that on behalf of the entire village community. So this is like they have made a rule. So they have provided communities a secure access to resources. So somebody is poor, he cannot be denied water from the well. He cannot be denied that you cannot, he cannot be told that you cannot collect firewood from the forest. You cannot be denied. So everyone is equal that way. But it also means that all families and individuals within the community have specific duties to perform. You cannot go and cut a tree. Arey, meri marzi nahi bol sakte. Okay, you have to abide by the rules which have been set by the village community. Otherwise, obviously, the community will not function smoothly. Now, it gives you two examples. Okay, and this is interesting. Year after year, the region around the town of Jhabua in Madhya Pradesh, okay, suffered from an acute water crisis. Pani ki bahut killat thi. There was a severe water crisis. So, following their halma, and the photograph is there in on the next page, tradition of coming together to support any individual or family in times of crisis. The Bhil community, please remember this. That's why I said, no, the community can also be a group in a particular place. They decided that they will plant thousands of trees in hundreds of villages. So you make the area green so that it invites rains. Okay, sukha na pade. So the Bhils also dug many trenches, yani ki, canals, trenches, where water could flow to conserve rainwater. Saki, when the rain comes, water can be conserved to be used during the summer months, and created other water harvesting structures. They did not get paid. It was voluntary work. उन्होंने अपनी तरफ से काम किया so that गांव का भला हो, so that Jhabua ka bhala ho, so that Jhabua gains from this kind of what is known as a voluntary work, or in Hindi would be called Shramdan. Okay. They felt it was their duty towards their community and the environment. Okay. In the Halma tradition, the objective is to serve Mother Earth. Okay. That we need to do some duties towards Mother Earth. In 2019, Sri Mahesh Sharma of the Shiv Ganga movement was honored with the Padma Shri Award from the Government of India, from the President, for his transformational work with the Bhil community. So this particular information you need to be aware of. During the Chennai floods of 2015, which I covered, okay, I will put some photographs out here. Roads turned to rivers and people could no longer move around. Okay. All the shops were closed. This was in December, mid-December 2015, one of the worst floods in the history of Chennai. And many private groups, and I know specifically the film actors, students in Tamil Nadu would be aware. People like Varalakshmi Sharat Kumar's daughter, actor Vishal Reddy, and many such Tamil actors, they all came together to distribute essential commodities like food packets, water, drinking water, medicines. So, these kind of essentials which were required, which was not available during the Chennai floods, many voluntary organizations, they actually came out in order to help the people of Chennai. Koturpuram kind of areas in Chennai were very severely affected. And many private groups, in particular, spiritual and religious organizations, cooked large quantities of food and distributed it to people who needed it. Then there are many more such examples of people coming together. Have you heard of any? So it happens during an earthquake. It happened during the tsunami. It happens during many floods, which take place almost on a yearly basis in states like Bihar and Assam and Bengal in particular. Cyclones when they hit states like Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. So the real life stories above illustrate that community in a rural context, community is also present in an urban context, although it may function a little differently. Let's take the example from another real life. Now, this is the Halma that we're talking about. You are seeing that a lot of pits have been dug in order to plant trees. Now you see different kinds of community bonding. A lot of people, this is like a festival, this is to take some kind of a mini irrigation project, this is some kind of a clearing of a road, this is again to take part in agriculture, the fourth one. And the fifth one, people going again to dig up something. They're going with all their implements. This particular photograph. Okay. Now, more than 20 years ago, in an area in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, Kamal Parmar, who is the owner of a small auto fabrication workshop, यानी कि ऑटो कंपोनेंट्स को या ऑटो रिक्शा का कुछ मेटल शीट लगाना हो, वो सब फैब्रिकेट करने का जो वर्कशॉप होता है, उसको ऑटो फैब्रिकेशन वर्कशॉप कहते हैं. He noticed that there were a group of underprivileged, that is people's children from poor families, okay, on the street. They had dropped out of school. वो स्कूल नहीं जाते थे, कुछ तो स्कूल गए ही नहीं थे. They had never gone to school. So what Kamal Parmar started doing, he started giving them tuition from 5:30 in the evening till 9:30 in the night every day. After he got over with his office work. He also provided the kids with free dinner, okay, all from his pocket. So he realized that soon 150 children, because everyone wants to get educated, because without education, what are you? And you should feel very fortunate that you actually go to good schools. Your parents are providing you with quality education. So आपका धर्म क्या बनता है? What is your duty? To study well, to study hard and excel and make them feel proud of you. Okay? ये नहीं कि पेरेंट टीचर्स मीटिंग में आपके टीचर बोले, अरे क्या करता है आपका लड़का, आपकी लड़की क्या करती है, इसका ध्यान ही नहीं रहता है क्लासरूम में. ऐसा नहीं बोलना. Okay? So soon 150 children were attending those classes by Kamal sir and were deeply interested in the lessons. Some other teachers from another local school noticed the classes which were happening in the evening, and they also joined the teaching for a while. And one of them said, These children don't even get proper benches to sit. They have no silent zone because there is traffic all over. The vehicles passing by make a lot of noise, honking noise. Yet they pay full attention to what Kamal sir is teaching. That touched my heart, and the love and affection I got from them was unbelievable. The other teachers, some older children who had passed out, who are attending regular schools in other class schools, they also joined as volunteers. Volunteers means to do work free of cost, that is without charging any money. So to teach in Kamal's classes, one of them remarked, we went there to teach, instead we learned a lot from them. Because I always believe, a teacher is not someone, an educator is not someone who only teaches. You also learn a lot. You learn about life. You learn about life from the kind of feedback that you give, which is why I always say, please interact. As I said, 77%, it was 72% a few days back. Now it's 77% of you don't even subscribe to the channel, even while you're using the content. So my humble submission is free of cost. But if you subscribe, I know, okay, there is some connection which is being formed with this particular student who is from Mysore in Karnataka, or Ludhiana in Punjab, or Guwahati in Assam, or Cuttack in Odisha. I know that. That's why please subscribe. You just need to press the subscribe button, press on the bell icon. That's all. There is absolutely no payment, 0 rupees. Okay. No financial drain on your pocket, on your parents' pocket. So this is how he's teaching under a tent, even while there is traffic passing by. So please discuss this. So what people like Kamal Parmar are doing is fantastic work. Okay. That you are able to help people who need quality education. I always believe that I am able to kind of give you much more because I'm drawing from my experiences. I'm drawing from my experiences in life to tell you and to put it in a context, ताकि आपको ज्यादा अच्छा समझ में आएगा जब मैं उदाहरण दूंगा कि ऐसे ऐसे होता है, तो आपको समझने में आसानी होगी. समझो, रट्टा मत मारो, कभी भी रट्टा मत मारो, बिकॉज़ जो रट्टा मारोगे, if you mug up, you will forget after 3-4 days. But if you understand it, you will not forget it for your entire lifetime. So what should society do is what they are asking, to make sure that all children get access to education. We will do the question and answers in detail later. This is about understanding the chapter. How do you make sure that children get access to education? That you ensure that they all get admitted to schools. The school should have good facilities. The school should have qualified teachers in order to ensure that all children are taken care of. An educated country is so very important. Now, new types of communities have also emerged in the last 30 to 40 years. There are resident welfare association. For instance, I live in an apartment. We are just 14 flats, but we have a resident welfare association, right? So that's also like a community. There are 14 families living together. So the association will represent the interests of all the 14 families living in this particular apartment complex. Communities are ultimately interdependent in the sense that you depend on another community also. For example, the resident welfare association, for example, yahan pe flood aa gaya, pani bhar gaya, the president and the secretary of the association will reach out to someone else for help, so on behalf of this community. So communities become interdependent. Like it says, it depends on the trading community for supplies, the municipal workers to handle waste. Kachra hai, so you call the municipal commissioner and say that please send someone to clear the garbage in front of our apartment complex. So this is how meetings of the apartment complex, etc., take place. So we now understand that a community is a flexible concept. Families are two types. Community is, there can be different kinds of communities. It can be a jati or a subdivision of it, also known as a community, a group of people who work together, like what I just now said. The Sikh community in Chennai would be less in number, but that would be known as Chennai Sikh community. America's Indian communities, the NRIs. Kerala's scientific community, right? That's also very important. The scientists who live in Kerala working on space missions, etc. Our school's art community, the village farming community, right? So that way also you can talk about communities. Similarly, यहाँ पे हम क्लब का इस्तेमाल ज्यादा करते हैं, कम्युनिटी नहीं बोलते हैं स्कूल लेवल पे, but anyway, since it is written. So this is what are the major 3 points which we have discussed in this particular chapter, that the family is the foundation of human society, the community is a bigger unit, and it implies that people do their best to support each other. It can be defined in several ways, and there are many kinds of community, I hope, and they're interdependent, and I hope you have understood it with all the different examples that I've given from the textbook and outside the textbook. Okay, so with this, we come to an end of this particular chapter, which is part of civics, and this would be the first chapter of civics, otherwise chapter number 9. And I do hope to see your comments, and as I said, we will discuss the question and answers after a while in a separate video. Okay, tata, bye bye, thank you very much, God bless you, namaskar.